Welcome to the Business Mumma podcast, where we chat about creating a business that supports and flows with your family and with your life, not the other way around. Hi, I'm your host, Annalise Swan. I'm a marketing agency owner and a mother of 3 little ones. I'll be bringing you conversations with successful women in business, as well as practical marketing strategies and tips that you can action right away. So let's get into it. In this episode, I spoke with Janna, the founder of 2 product brands that she started and grew from home over the last 6 years while looking after her 4 children. Janna is a total powerhouse and one of my good friends. She's totally understated in this interview, and I'm not sure that it accurately portrays just how impressive she is. I really hope you love getting some insight into the planning process behind the businesses she's created. It's so easy in this day and age to want things now, and we have so many ads and other things telling us that there's this next big thing that'll have us earning 6 figures a month in no time. So it's really nice to get back to reality a little bit and realize the amount of work that goes into researching and planning for success in business. So please enjoy. Hi, Janna. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you.
Okay, so let's just get started by, if you could introduce yourself, please, and your businesses.
Yes, my name is Janna and I own 2 businesses. My first one I started about 6 years ago called Lily and Lace, and that's an online shop where I make and sell bridal hair accessories, flower crowns and things like that. And my second business is Saltwater Naturals, where I also make and sell online natural skincare.
Yes, you're very understating yourself. They're gorgeous products, both of them. And that is why I wanted to chat to you today. You also have 4 children.
I do. I have 4 children between the ages of 9 and 4. And yeah, my first business started kind of in the middle of that.
Okay, so let's dig into that. Why did you start your business?
By the time I had my 3rd daughter, I did want to work, and I hadn't worked since I had my first daughter. And I actually just started making hair accessories for my own children and some friends and some family. And I really enjoyed it. I really liked doing that from home. And I actually have a business background. I went to business college after school. So kind of starting it up fell into place pretty quickly. So I just decided to start my own business and work from home while caring for my children at home.
Yeah. And how did you actually start it? What were the steps that you took to getting it off the ground?
I spent a lot of time, first of all, researching the market, my competitors, what I wanted to do. I had to teach myself how to make a website and be able to maintain that myself, because I really wanted to keep costs down and do as much as I could myself. So yeah, a lot of research, basically, many hours on the computer working out what I wanted to do and how.
So how did you go about researching the market?
I knew that I wanted to get on Google and to be seen on Google because it was an online business. I did do a bit of markets as well at the start to kind of get my brand out there, but ultimately I did just want to work from home. I didn't want to work outside of the home. So I just did a lot of research on, who my competitors were, what kind of products they had, what I wanted to do, and I felt like there was a niche for me in that way. And at the time, the kind of products that were out there, I thought weren't all that great, and their websites weren't that great, and that I could do a good job.
Yeah. And you definitely did. And that business has evolved, hasn't it? Because you didn't start out with mostly flower crowns.
No, it actually started off like how I was making for my own kids, just kids accessories, lots of headbands, lots of fabric ones. And then eventually I started using silk flowers, and that's it just really took off from there, because I would just be getting requests all the time from women and for weddings, and so that's just kind of how it's evolved. The kind of the market's told me that to kind of put more time into women's pieces and bridal pieces, even more so than kids wear.
And how did you go about marketing it?
I actually didn't have to do a lot for marketing for this business, and it was because I had a really good website. I spent a lot of time making a good website, doing some SEO, and I didn't have to do paid advertising or marketing. And once I got on the first page of Google, which I still am, that's kind of all I needed, and it's just stayed that way for 5 or so years. So that's kind of what I targeted and what I was able to achieve.
Yeah. And then you started a second business. So how did that come about?
So skincare is something actually I wanted to do for a long time. I'm really interested in natural products and organic products, and I really wanted to learn how to make these products myself because I'm quite hands-on. I really enjoy that. So it was a couple of years ago now that I started researching that business basically, and taking the time to work out what I wanted to do with that and my brand. That launched last year with my products online as well.
Wonderful. And then, okay, so you've got now 2 businesses and 4 children. Mm-hmm. So how do you balance or not being a mum and being a business owner?
It's definitely easier now than what it was. I've got 3 girls now in school, and my 4-year-old is at kinder for a few hours a week. So I've definitely got way more time this year than I ever have before. But back in the early days, it was definitely, work while they nap, work while they're playing for half an hour. Like, it was just on and off work all day really, and just stopping and starting. And that was okay for me. I can kind of switch on and off like that, and it worked for our family. I know a lot of people have difficulty with that, but it seemed to work for me. So it's really just getting in as much as you can and being really organised with your time. Like, I'd be doing 3-4 things at once and just be all over it, and you're trying to prioritise the thing needed most at the time. And it seemed to work, and now it really is very natural. We're very used to it now, our family life, with me working from home, and the kids help out now a little bit as well, putting tags on products and things like that. So that can be their little job some days, which they like. It's good.
Yeah, you are. I mean, knowing you as a friend, you are very good at being super productive and organised. I've definitely noticed that and admired that in you. How did you learn to be productive or structure your day? Or I don't know what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I don't think I had to teach myself that. I just think I'm naturally very task orientated, and I like to be busy. Like, it might sound silly, but I do really like to be working on a project, at least one at once. So it was very easy for me to kind of work out my day and work out how to do things, and it's just something that I enjoy. So I guess it was easy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's interesting that you say that you could turn on and off, because I struggle with that. I sort of need a big chunk of time, unless it is just emails or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess, was that because you were making a lot of products and you didn't have to be on a computer? Or
yeah, it's a real mix, because I'm making products and I'm packaging them up and I'm on emails and I'm ordering things and paying for things, and so it is a bit of kind of just everything, and they're kind of short, small jobs, a whole lot of them at once. So I could just kind of start one, finish one, and then stop, and then go on to the next one, and kind of like that. I definitely did have to learn to turn work off at 5 o'clock though. Like, it's kind of one thing to be working from home, but you do have to balance your hours, and it just not go into all the evening and dinner time and all that, because that's not really functional for a family. So I definitely had to learn to turn the computer off and leave any work for the next day once 5 o'clock comes around. I try not to work on weekends, but if I do have to, I will. But just really kind of balancing the family time and realising that you can't get it all done in one day.
And what do you use to keep your tasks allocated? Like, do you use Asana or like some sort of project management software, or just a notebook with a whole lot of to-do lists? Or?
Yeah, I actually don't use any program at all. I go by my inbox a lot as well. So if I need to remind myself to do something, I'll email myself. So I have, a list of emails every day to work through. And once that task is done, I go file that away. So that's kind of what I use mostly. Or just a notepad or something, a paper on my desk to remind me to do something. That seems to work well.
Oh my goodness, lady. Honestly, I don't know how you do it. I've got like my Asana with all my different clients and
I've
tabs
never
and
heard
my
of that.
all tasks. Really? It just goes to show everyone's so different.
Yeah.
I can't keep it all in my brain like that. Like I just, I need to see it a bit more organized in front of me.
Yeah.
It's like a pin board sort of thing. It has topics like listed up the top, and then under each topic will be a whole heap of tasks.
Okay.
And then you can put due dates, and I can assign it to different members of the team.
Okay.
And so I know what everyone needs to do by when. And so,
And I do actually have, now that I'm looking around my office, I do actually have a whole lot of papers on my pin board. They're really more mentally to remind me, because I don't actually look at them. But once I've written them down, it stays in my head. So that's kind of how that works.
Wow. Go you. All right. Well, let's talk about what you have found the best things have been about having your own business and working from home.
I love working from home. I love that I have been able to work as well as look after my children. Like I didn't want to work just to put them in daycare, or I didn't want to work just so they were, away from the home. I really wanted to balance both. And that's just been amazing to be able to do that at the same time and not have to wait till they're at school either. And I love that I can just use my own ideas and my money and my time any way that I want. I don't have to report to anyone. I can say no to work. I can figure out what work I want and what I don't want. I can change my mind about things. I can just do what I want, and I love being my own boss.
Yeah.
I think I think it's just really suits me. And I've worked as a PA in law firms and offices all of my working life before this, and there's good things about being in an office and working for other people and working out of the home as well. But definitely this stage of my life, I've really enjoyed working from home.
Do you find that you miss the interaction and leaving the house, or have you been fine and just enjoyed working mostly by yourself and from home?
Up until now, I've definitely enjoyed it. I've not been missing anything, but I have got a thought in the back of my mind: when all my children are at school, how will that change? Like, will I just be craving for that interaction with people face to face a bit more? So definitely I'm fine to leave it the way it is for now, but I will see how it goes if I want to change anything later on.
Because it's not something that I personally struggle with, but lately I've been speaking to quite a few mums that miss leaving the house. And I think similar to you, at the moment I'm so busy, like I'm either working and I'm just getting the task done, or I'm with the kids, or I'm doing housework, or whatever it is, that there's no time to be lonely or miss the interaction, because it's like, oh, I only have this like short amount of time, like let's go. But I guess, as you're saying, as that becomes more flexible and maybe a bit more open, that there might be room for that. So okay. And what about the challenges? What along the way have been the biggest challenges you've faced?
I think I do remember at the start kind of getting used to the change that you're working from home, even though you have been at home before, and your kind of mind recognizes that because you've been in work mode and getting ready for this this work to launch and everything. But for your family to actually get used to the fact that you're home but you're working was a big thing. And being in the office, and sometimes you can't be interrupted, and so my husband would just say, no kids, just wait a few minutes, things like that. The kids, and they just weren't used to it. And I remember having to kind of let them know and kind of explain things a bit, what was happening, and discussing with my husband sharing a bit more of the house workload, because that kind of gets put on the back burner really at the end of the day. And that was just something that we had to agree on and discuss, that I did work now, and even though I was home, I am working, and just kind of getting used to that change. It's all, that after a year or so you do get used to it. It's just natural. But at the start you really did have to talk about things and have a plan in place, and have all that worked out.
Yeah, it is tricky.
Mm.
And I find it hard if there's stuff in the house that needs to get done and it's a work day, to ignore the pile of washing, to be like, no, this day is like, I'm at work. The washing has to wait till tonight or tomorrow or whatever. So
we definitely find more of the weekends now are catching up on housework, whereas when I wasn't working, that could get done during the week, but when you're working, there's just not enough time in the day to do it all.
Yeah, I know, right? We need more hours.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about challenges on the business side of things? Have you found the biggest sort of roadblocks in growing the business or starting the business? Like, what were the things that you found the most challenging?
I think a challenge with my second business, the skincare business, has definitely been the fact that it's not this little niche that that is what I had with my first business. There's so many skincare brands, there's so many online skincare brands, there's now quite a lot of natural brands even. And I really started that business because I was passionate about it, and I wanted to learn to make it, and I wanted to do that for myself probably more than anything. So it was kind of a hobby business, but not necessarily a real strategic business money-making plan. So it's definitely a challenge to be seen when you've got so much competition. And that's just the nature of the industry as well. That's what is out there, and it's a great thing that there's lots of other natural skincare brands as well, but just not as easy to be seen, and especially like my other business, to be seen without even having to pay for marketing. Just kind of working all that out and figuring out what I want to do and what my budget is, and tackling that.
Yeah, okay. So some new skills in the marketing side.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you're right. There is a lot of skincare out there now, and I've noticed even as you're saying natural, but it's funny that how a lot of people also then call themselves natural but are potentially not so much. Like I know your products are 100% like amazing quality ingredients, really beautiful products. And then compared to other people who might have the name natural, but might have some organic rosehip oil in there, but also have a heap of chemicals, or
exactly. And it is a real test. You got to look at those ingredients. You got to look kind of behind the face of that brand, because if they just use a whole lot of money on their packaging and in their branding, and they get a lot of traction that way, that doesn't necessarily mean they're the real deal, and what you're really looking for in a product.
True. Yeah, I guess that's the thing, isn't it, with all of our businesses, is how to get it in front of the right people.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And just before we wrap up, what advice would you have for other mums that are dreaming about starting their own business?
I think the biggest thing is take a really long time to do your research before you actually launch and before you start your idea. Because as you gauge the market and your business plan and what you want to do, your ideas do change, and you don't want to be wasting money doing something and then deciding you don't want to do that anymore or changing it. You really want to have a good idea of what your plan is. Like, I think I took over a year researching before my first business launched, and 2 years before my second business launched. So there's nothing wrong with taking a really long time to get your head around everything. Like, do a business plan, get your vision sorted, get your budget sorted, your brand, your target audience. If you're working on products like me, get them as good as you possibly can before you launch. Have them tested, get advice from your friends and family, like kind of cover all bases before. And have a think about is your business something that people are actually looking for? Or are you going to be competing with 10,000 others just like you? Is it a business, or is it better as a hobby? Can you do all the tasks yourself, or do you have to pay other people? Like, is your skill set like really wide and broad to kind of take care of everything on the business front? Or, what are you going to have to fit in getting all those jobs done? Who are you going to have to pay, or ask for favors or whatever to get it started?
Have you found that you have had to outsource much, or have you done most of the things yourself?
I've not outsourced much at all. There's really not much at all. Like, I do have some people working on the website if there's something so tricky that I can't fix. But as for the products, no, I really make them myself, and I like to know the qualities there. Really, I don't so much want to trust that on anyone else. I like to have that covered.
Yeah. So how have you managed supply and demand in terms of, if you want to do it all yourself, is that when you mentioned before that you say yes or no to the jobs that you want, so that the flow is a comfortable level for you?
Yeah, I remember there was one summer a couple of years ago that I just had so much work for Lily and Lace. I was trying to go on holidays as well at the same time. We had family holidays planned, and I had, a sign on my business saying we're away for a week. You can order, but nothing will be looked at until this date. But, people were still ordering, and I had big orders. And like, I remember coming home, and it took me so long to work through it all. But now I've actually figured out that when that happens again, I can shut my cart off, which is necessary for when I can't kind of make up for that time, and I don't want to come home and be bombarded with so much work. Yeah. There are bigger orders, especially event orders that I get. They could ask for 1,000 pieces of something, and I'll often just say no. I can outsource that, and I have a couple of times, but most of the time it's just not realistic, and they want it in 2 weeks or something silly. So
yeah,
you
don't realize it's like handmade.
Exactly. We're not a factory here.
Yeah. And I thought it was also a really good point with the research, and that's with any business, not just product business, is to really hear what the audience is actually saying.
Yep.
And you did that really well when you launched Saltwater, because I was a part of that when you had sent out a whole document with the table and products for what is this,
feedback form. Yeah, that's it.
And not just what do you think about this, but rated on this, but like that was so detailed.
Yeah.
I'm sure that then you made a lot of tweaks and figured out exactly where you're going. So yes, right. Yeah, I think that was a really good point too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe if you now just want to mention, you can tell us exactly where to find you if people want to look up your brands. And
so I do have Facebook and Instagram for both my businesses, but I do primarily use the websites. So Lily and Lace, the hair accessories brand is lilyandlace.com.au, and that's 2 L's in Lily. And my natural skincare brand is saltwaternaturals.com.au as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to come on today, Janna.
Thanks, Annalise.
That was really valuable because you're doing it. You've got the 2 businesses and the kids, and you've managed to successfully start and grow these businesses. Yeah, I think that's been really valuable because the tips that you've provided are really practical, and hearing from your experience is going to be really helpful. So thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Business Mumma podcast. I hope you got some actionable tips that you can implement in your business right away. Please, please, please rate and subscribe, and then head on over to mumma.digital to continue the conversation and let me know what you thought. Have a really wonderful week, and if you'd like to come and say hi, come to our Facebook group, Business Mummas. See you there.